Hello everybody, we've come today to continue our high bird coaching video. We're at Park Lodge shooting school based in East Yorkshire. We will be shooting the tower at 50 yards, that's the full length it'll go. I've got Paul James here from Gamebore. Morning Paul.
Morning David.
Who's kindly fetched me some experimental cartridges to try today on the high tower. Right, what have you fetched us today then, Paul?
So we've got some we're looking at developing some new dark storm.
Right.
Some heavier loads, and we've got some lighter loads as well. So we've got some shells for the start of the season. Yeah. So moving on to the end of the season, really.
So you're not going to tell me what these are. You're just going to want me to practice on them and see what happens.
I don't want to tell you what they are because I don't want you to poo-poo them before we start.
Right.
So I think it's better that we don't tell you. You shoot them and you give us a true reflection on what you think they are.
Yeah. As I say, it's all about R&D, research and development with Gamebore, and trying to show people what's needed to kill these high birds. As I say, we're at the high tower. One important thing to everybody understand about shooting these high birds is a lot of it is about footwork, getting in the right position. I know sometimes you haven't got a lot of time to shoot these birds. You might be shooting in a gully with a small gap, and of course you have to move pretty sharpish. The birds will be coming from where the tower is now, and I'll be waiting in anticipation, of course, but I will always have that one foot there and the other foot square on. If it's a snapshot, then we've got to be prepared for a really fast bird over a short distance. And as I say, my footwork will be like this. I'll pick it up and as fast as I can onto the bird's body, and that, if you look, that allows me a lot of movement, and I'm talking about a gap that probably finishes there and we lose the bird there. In these situations, I've shot like that before and it's very difficult to get on them. But you need to get that footwork ready. You need to be ready for them. Now, this is a situation where you have a rough idea where the birds are coming from. If you haven't got any idea at all, it's the first time you've shot this place, then you've just got to take the natural stand square on, but be prepared to move. This is a good crosser and quite fast. I miss it first barrel behind and over the top. At the second barrel I give it more lead and get more underneath it, which equals a dead bird. If it's forced into a straight driven scenario, put your foot forward, make sure your weight's on that foot, but you can transfer it back. As soon as I see the bird come over, I'll lean my body straight into it, mount the gun on the body of the bird and pull through and wait for the kill point about there. As you can see in this sequence of shots, I will set off almost behind the bird, giving me the line straight away and killing it ASAP, so I can get on to the second target to achieve a left and right. Gun speed is most important. On the angled bird to the right, I will move my feet and ride it out, taking it as more of a crosser. You will almost always pull off line on the angled bird if you try to take it too quickly. Well. I'm taking the pair. It's imaginary because we're on clays anyway, we're on game. If I got this pair, I would certainly take the straight one on as fast as I could and then move my footwork round. Obviously the other bird would be somewhere out here and I'll be turning my feet around to get onto that one. But first of all, I've got to concentrate on the first one and stick with it if you miss it. Pull! Let's have a look at a long crossing bird now, and the stance I'll take again is my weight forward, and the foot will be pointing in the direction the birds are crossing. So I'm looking at a bird now that's crossing maybe 50 yard and 50 yard up, which is a very, very difficult bird, very good bird. But I'll try and pick it up as soon as I can. It's most important that you pick these birds up ASAP and get straight onto the body. And I don't maintain it. I pull straight onto the body first so I can judge the speed of the crosser, and I'll concentrate as much as I can, and at the very last moment when I feel comfortable with it, I'll pull the trigger. If I miss with the first battle, then that's when I'll move my foot. If I move my foot slightly left, following the bird again, it allows my body from the hips to move on the bird without pulling the barrels underneath the bird. This sequence of shots, you can see how important it is to concentrate on the line as well as lead. Most of the misses with the first barrel are over the top, and sometimes over the top and behind. It is very important to get on the bird as soon as possible, to allow yourself 2 shots. They've shoved this cross a little bit further out now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the clay run a bit. It's a pretend game bird and I'm mopping up at the back. Every shooting man's duty in the game field, if you see a pricked bird, wounded bird or whatever, he needs to try and clean it up at the back of somebody else. Makes the dog work a lot easier. It saves any suffering whatsoever. As explained, I'm letting this bird go a bit similar to a wounded bird, giving it 4 or 5 foot underneath it. This will finish it off. The right hand one, simulation again, I'm leaving it, 4 or 5 foot underneath it, 50, 60 yard away, but it's a good kill, finishes it off lovely. Right, Paul, thanks for fetching these guys. What do you think to them? Well, I thought they were fantastic.
Well, they look fantastic from what you did with them.
We know it's 50 yard on the tower, 60 yard, and I shot these with these new ones, which you won't tell me what they are. Straight out of the trap, in good pace, so we know they're still 60, they're not coming in, they're still 60, 50 yard away. Now, you fetched me these to try now, but you've actually got to rush back to the office.
I'm going to nip back to the office. I'm going to leave you these.
You're leaving me these because I'm going back another 20 yard.
Okay.
So you're saying that these are the bee's knees.
These have got more energy. So
right.
Just let me know on the recoil, etc.
Well,
and give me a call later on today.
Once again, thanks very much, Paul. Thanks for fetching them, and we'll try and do them justice, mate. Thank you.
Later.
Cheers, mate. What we're going back to is the further away we go, obviously eyesight comes into it being then. Especially on a windy day, it's sometimes very difficult if your eyesight isn't that good, to focus on the little movements that's happening there, especially on windy days, and that bird could be moving away and down at the same time. So it's imperative that you do study it a little bit harder and concentrate more. And then I get into a zone where that looks right and I pull the trigger. I think it's the more distance the target and more distance the bird, it's a lot of instinctive shooting comes into it then. One thing about distance shooting is it's like setting a teal target up 20 yard away. You've got to get used to that distance, and you walk further and further back. As you kill it at 25 yard, walk 5 paces back, shoot it again, and you will get back 50 or 60 yard to targets that you wouldn't normally shoot at and you wouldn't normally think you could kill. But believe me, anybody is capable of killing these targets if they're prepared to put the time and effort in, and they're prepared to use the right equipment. I'm stood 50 yard away from the tower, so clays are 50 yard up and crossing 50 yard away with 2 traps. One firing clay fast and down, and one firing clay upwards a bit slower. This shows the true variables you will get in game shooting. Here I'm shooting a bird between 55 and 60 yard. You can see the lead. I've missed that one underneath and behind. You'll see the lead on the second shot and underneath as well. Look at that. And kill the bird. And then the second clay, it's the same trap. It's what's the lead on it again, but underneath it again, as well as plenty of lead on in the front. We're just showing the speed now of the 2 targets that we shot. This is the second one, look at that. Look at the lead. This third one is the one that was going uphill, and you'll see the difference in the speed of this bird. That's because it was actually travelling upwards. But you can see there's still a fair amount of lead on it. We've come back another 20 yard, so we'll be looking at least 70, 80 yard now from the tower, from the clay. You can see the speed of these clays, and they're very difficult to see. Then we're going to show you in slow motion on the second one, which I killed, just how far these birds are away, and you can see the amount of lead that we give on these birds. In the game season, I'll start on 5s, September, October, then I'll start to move into 4s and 3s, and I'll continue with 4s and 3s throughout the season, for the rest of the season anyway. As everybody knows, them pheasants get tougher, they don't get softer, they get tougher and they get wilier, and that means that they're looking to escape by putting a bit of distance on the gun. So this is what you've got to get used to. Come to a shooting school like this. You know, this is one of the premier grounds round here, and go and see the staff and get them to fetch you one-to-one tuition on the tower until you get used to shooting these high birds. You can start from the bottom of the tower for a bit of partridge shooting and work your way up gradually till you feel confident that you can shoot at a 50 yard clay. And when you start shooting a 50 yard clay and killing it proficiently, then it's okay to move into the game scene and try the loads and the principles that you've learnt at the shooting club. Don't be afraid to try different loads and different equipment. Please take note, these are clay pigeons, not a game bird. I do not advocate anyone shooting at live quarry over and above 50 to 60 yards away, and only then if you have the right skills and equipment. Remember, a game bird is a tough adversary at these ranges with a will to live. This is just a taste of a more intensive series which will include some of the best shots in the country, who will give you some basic tips on how to address these high pheasants and tricky clays. Please subscribe for further input. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Thank you.